So in this recording, I am going to explain what AWS Trends Agents means when it says that it's an agentic loop for the agent, right? So this is a blog. First we'll read this and then we'll look into the code, how this agentic loop is implemented. So it says an agent interacts with the model and tools in a loop until it completes the task provided by the prompt. This agentic loop is at the core of Strand's capabilities. The Strand's agentic loop takes full advantage of how powerful LLMs have become and how well they can natively reason, plan, and select tools. In each loop, Strands invokes the LLM with the prompt and agent context, along with a description of your agent's tools. The LLM can choose to respond in natural language for the agent's end user, plan out a series of steps, reflect on the agent's previous steps, and or select one or more tools to use. When the LLM selects a tool, Strands takes care of executing the tool and providing the result back to the LLM. When the LLM completes its task, Strands returns the agent's final result. So the pictorial representation is this, like when a user prompt comes to the agent invokes the model decides whether a tool needs to be used, right? It can also look at the prompt and see if there is a guardrail that needs to be executed, right? So the model will stop for that particular execution. For example, if it decides that it needs to call it tool, the stop reason will be tool use. So before it gives the response back to the user, it will stop, execute the tool, get the input or output from the tool execution, give it to the model back, and then it will return the result. So prompt, the model decides, oh, I need to use a tool. Let me stop, call the tool, get the output, and then return the response to the user, right? That is the flow. Let's get deep into the code and see how it is implemented, right? So here what I did is I created a very simple AWS Trends code. And from one of the pre-built tools of Strand tools, the calculator tool, that is what I have imported, right? I'm using OpenAI here. That's why I have the light LLM model abstraction over GPT-4o, right? And I also created a custom tool where I'm saying, like, if a prompt is given, its answer quiz prompt is given, return the output messages for photosynthesis is how plants eat food. It is just for testing, like um, like if you really want to implement this tool, probably you will have another uh, retrieval here, or from a um, quiz store. So based on the prompt, you might want to match which answer matches with the prompt and then return it. But now I have hard coded it, right? And then I instantiate the agent. I gave it the calculated tool and the answer quiz tool, right? Um, and the model, right? Max parallel tools, I'll talk about it later. And then I asked, always use provided tools, calculate 40 multiplied by 80 divided by 100, and then answer what is photosynthesis, right? So when I execute it, how the event loop or agentic loop happens, let's say. So this is a agent class, right? So whenever we call a class like this, it inherently calls the underscore call method of that class, right? So if I go to the underscore call method here, you will see here there is a run loop, right? This is where the event loop starts, right? So it takes a prompt. If I go to the run loop, in that run loop, there is a, this is where it actually executes the event loop cycle. if I go into the execute event loop cycle, here you will see that there is this event loop cycle, right? It calls this event loop cycle with all the parameters that we have provided, right? And if I go into the event loop cycle, right, here you'll see that the stop reason, right? We'll get the stop reason. Let me show. Okay. So this is the stop reason. We'll go into this also, see what are the categories of stop reason for it, for which it will stop, and then um, stop before giving answer to the human. We'll look at this also. But let's look at the stop, how it is using the stop reason, right? So if the stop reason is tool use, where did it go? Yeah, here, right? If the stop reason is tool use, right, it will stop now, right? And then it will stop from giving the response back to the human or the caller, right? And call the handle tool execution, right? In the handle tool execution, when it calls the handle tool execution, there is a run tool. Let me go here. I think the run tool is here. Yeah, so in the handle tool, yeah, run tools, right? And this tool uses is where all the tools that it is supposed, if I gave two tools, right? It will send that list of tools to run tools, and the run tools is where it will now execute the tools. So okay. So remember in the beginning, I said that max parallel tool I'll talk about later, right? So if I have given that it can run max parallel tool equal to 2 or 3, like it means that, so it will create two threads and try to run the uh, tools in parallel. If I say 3, if there are 3 tools, it will try to run that in parallel, right? And this is where it executes the tools, right? If I say max parallel tool call is 1, then it runs in a sequential mode here. So for each tool use, one after the one other, it uh, runs the tool, and the tool results are appended and sent back to the language model to answer, right? That's how the um, agentic loop works. Now the stop reason, let's see what are the stop reasons, right? So it will stop for if there is a tool use, right? If there is a particular stop sequence, if it is reached max tokens, if there is a guardrail intervened, right? And finally, if everything is done right and turned, right? When it is unturned, then it will return the response back to the user. The other is content filtered, right? Uh, if the model output has um, some content that is like not, it's a, like we need to filter that content because of some um, uh, illegal content, or the content which is harmful, right? The content filtered stop reason will be encountered, right? Now, let me run this. I put some prints to show the flow. So here I am asking a question. Always use provided tools, calculate 40 into 80 divided by 100, then answer what is photosynthesis, right? So if I run it now, you'll see that the stop reason would be tool use, right? So it said enter the loop, right? The stop reason is tool use, and you'll see that it has decided there are two tools it needs to call, right? One is the 40 multiplied by 80 divided by 100. That is one tool use, right? The other one is the answer quiz, which is the what is photosynthesis, right? This tool, it will execute. We have seen this in the run tool. Um, Let me go back to the run tool, right? We have seen it in the run tool. This is what, like if it is not parallel, right? This is what it is doing for tool use in tool users, right? So if you see tool users, this is what I have printed, right? The tool users. What is the tool users? The tool users. I think I printed it somewhere, but yeah, the tool users, if you see it, it's a list, right? It's a list. If I run it in sequence, right, for each tool use, which is this, right, it has the information to run it now because it knows what is expression and all, right? It can call that tool ID, right? Run both the tools and then append the tool results message. Then it will give you the result. And like here, these are the output from the tool it given to the model. Model is now returning back the answer to us, right? And like before returning the answer, that stop reason is and turned. That means all the turns are done. I can now give it to the human as an answer. That is how this agentic loop works. Now, what I um, did not quite understand is why it is even called a loop. Because see, here I use two tools, right? My understanding, I'll call tool is like first it will call the tool, get the answer, then again call the tool, right? Then give the answer. And then it's a loop. That part I have not seen in the code. I I think if there is multiple stop reason, then the loop makes sense. But looking at the code, I did not see where it is that event loop is like okay, running a loop or executing a tool, right? Then I say, okay, I have another tool. It is running all the given tools at the same time only. Although like it's a kind of tool, but it event loop, but it's not kind of a multi-turn event loop. That part I could not see in the code, right? But I'm going to continue to explore this event loop or the agentic loop part here and see if I can find more on this. Thank you.